We want to review the operations that we can do with fractions, and let's start with reducing fractions to lowest terms. So the first thing to notice is that the number 1 is very important in working with fractions. I can write the number 3 if I want to as 1 times 3. I can write the number 3 as 3 times 1. I can write the number 3 as 3 over 1. I can divide by 1, I can multiply by 1. It will never change the value of my original number. So 3 can be written as 1 times 3, 3 times 1, 3 divided by 1. What you can't do is write 3 as 1 divided by 3. This and this are not the same number. So if you want to multiply by 1 or divide by 1, you can do that anytime you want. Let's see how that looks when we reduce fractions to lowest terms. Here I have 12/18. So what I'm going to do is see if I can find all the 1's that are in this by factoring the numerator and denominator. So 12 factors into 2 times 3, and 18 factors into, let's see, 6 times 3, which is 2 times 3, that's the 6, times 3 again. So now I see the factors that I have in the numerator and denominator, and what we usually do then is divide out common factors. So I can say, well, these 2's divide out, they're common to the numerator and denominator, and these 3's divide out, and that leaves me with the answer of 2/3. But let's just take a look for a second at what's behind this dividing the numerator and denominator by the common factors they have. I can rewrite this fraction as 2 over 2, that's this part right here, times 2 over 3 times 3 over 3. And now I see that 2 over 2, well, that's the same as the number 1, and 3 over 3 is the same as the number 1. So what I really have here is 1 times 2/3 times 1. And multiplying by 1 isn't going to change the value of this number right here, and so that's why the answer to this comes out to be 2/3. So we really don't always show these steps right here, but when we do this, this is what we're thinking. So if you were to look at this problem and say, what's the most important number in that problem? The answer is, it's the number 1. Let's go to the next board and look at another one of these problems. Okay, next I have 6 divided by 42. Let's do the same thing to this that we did to the last problem by factoring the numerator and denominator. 6 factors into 2 times 3. 42 is 6 times 7, so that's 2 times 3 times 7. Now, if we do what we did before and just divide the numerator and denominator by any factors they have in common, I can divide out those 2's, I can divide out those 3's. Now, a lot of students have problems at this point they'll write down the answer as 7. Well, that's not true. What's left in the numerator when I divide the numerator by 2 and by 3 is the number 1. And what's left in the denominator is that factor 7. So that comes out to be 1/7. Let's look and see how we can do this with multiplication and showing the number 1. So here I have 2 over 2. Next I have 3 over 3. And if I want, I can put a 1 in the numerator. That's not going to change the value of this. If I put another 1 as a factor in the numerator, it's still 2 times 3 times 1 is still the same as 2 times 3. But that gives me a way to write this last fraction as 1/7. Then I see I have 1 times 1/7. And 1 times 1/7, the same as just 1/7. So I can divide the numerator denominator by these factors they have in common, and again, this is really what I'm thinking when I'm doing that. So you're maybe not going to write this step right here, but it just shows that we're using this property that the number 1 has, that you can multiply by the number 1 anytime you want, divide by the number 1 anytime you want, and you won't change the value of your original number. You can't, however, write 3 as 1 over 3. That would be a mistake, but I haven't done that anywhere in here. So again, what's the most important number in this problem or any problem in which you're reducing fractions to lowest terms? It's the number 1.